Hello everyone, we're back with video 2 from chapter 9, supporting mobile devices. We went over in the first video the types of mobile devices and the operating systems with them. In this next video we're going to do the wired wireless connection, synchronization, and securing on mobile devices. So we're going to look into that. And in the configuring and syncing a mobile device, we're just going to jump right into it. You just want to make sure that you have everything set up in your initial settings. So you go into your device, depending on what it is, and you make sure that you have a linked account if you want to sync or configure your mobile device. If it's a Android device, you probably want to use your Google or Yahoo email. I don't know if anybody uses Yahoo email anymore, but Gmail, your Gmail account will be the one that you want to use. And most likely, I think everybody has a Gmail account anymore. You might even use that on your iOS device as well. So you just want to make sure that you have, and it's usually in the general settings that you can find your information. And we have our the software updates in there. You have your date and time, a lot of different things in it. So we have our two different looks for. So we have iOS and then we have our Android. I always go into our apps and notifications and see what permissions I've given for my Android device, and then I always make sure that I can add. I think I have, it's excessive. I think I have 4 emails, maybe it's 5 emails that I have on my Android. One of them is by Rock Valley College, but I have actually 3 personal Gmails. One of them is Washer Tech Tips, because I like to use that for if I need a quick Gmail or Google Hangout, I can use my Washer Tech Tips for that. And then I don't have to use my personal email. And then I have a District 100, which is Belvedere, the Gmail account. So I have 5 email accounts that I check. I'm sure those of you probably, some of you have the same situation where you have a ton of emails that you check. So our mobile device can connect Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, NFC, and cellular. So it can connect many different things and might have a different antenna depending on your device. So what you're going to do is you're just going to set it to work with whatever device is in your area. So if you have Wi-Fi and you can connect to Wi-Fi, you probably want to connect to that to save your data. Or you go to you know, if you're on your mobile cellular network, you'll have to use that if you don't have the Wi-Fi option. So your network settings are in the settings app, and you can configure your Wi-Fi that way if it doesn't pop up. Let's see. Here's our settings. We can see the Wi-Fi, and this one's connected to Luigi, and we can choose a different network if we wanted a different network. So we can go through it that way to connect to the network. You can also set up tethering and mobile hotspots. I've done this a couple times with my Pixel phone. It's very easy. You just go into the settings and set up tethering. I'm looking at it right now, and when I go into settings, I click on network and internet data, and right underneath that is hotspot and tethering, and I can turn it on. So if I'm somewhere and I don't have anything and my laptop can't connect to anything, I can use my smartphone to connect. The only place that it doesn't really work very well is I have a block classroom at Belvedere North High School, and it's very hard to get service in that room. So tethering to my phone is not going to work. So I just don't do it. Obviously, you have to have a subscription with your carrier in order to do this. And some phones, I'm not so sure. My husband's phone is pretty old. That one you might not be able to tether. I haven't really checked. He hasn't needed to do that. So you just have to make sure that you have a SIM card so that you have a unique number that you can use for tethering and get on the actual cellular network. So your cellular data, you have a SIM card that's in the device, and that is just the card that is going to have all your information on it and how you can contact the carrier to request different permissions on how to access that network. And sometimes you know, you can put it in airplane mode to disable the cellular data or any kind of Wi-Fi or anything. And sometimes you might be in cellular roaming, so just depending on your service, you have to be careful on that. And you can go in and you can disable roaming on either Android or iOS, and you can see the directions are right here. Or you can Google them for your phone and find out. So really, it's really easy to change those settings. The VPN connection, so we go from talking about cellular to connecting via VPN on a mobile device. So you can actually set up a secure VPN in your settings, and you can add a VPN connection and you can connect. If your place of business offers a VPN, then you can add that one in there. You can have a proprietary, sorry, for some reason I can't talk today, VPN to configure things too. And in iOS, you're just going to go to the settings tab and go to VPN. So either way, whether it's Android or iOS, you're going to go to settings and hit VPN and add a VPN connection. I actually use a program for my VPN. It is NordVPN. I started using it after they got hacked, but it's just really nice to have NordVPN on there so that it provides an extra layer of service, because you don't want to let anybody just see your information, and NordVPN will protect your information from, you know, if you're at Panera or if you're at somebody's house on their Wi-Fi and you want to do something, you can keep your information protected. So here's just kind of edit VPN settings. These are settings that your place of business will give you, so you can add that in there. And then we're going to move on to mobile device accessories and their little, PAN is personal area network connection. So all of the devices that can connect to your phone. Well, there's wired and wireless devices, and you just got to make sure that you get the appropriate device. So, you know, some devices like my Pixel, I can only plug in USB-C. I do not have a, you know, all my old earbuds, they will not connect into it, so I only have USB-C is all I can use on my phone. There is a connector that will convert back and forth, but my main connection is USB-C. So most of that, my husband ends up using those. I do use Bluetooth a lot, so I have a couple devices, headphones, speakers, different things that are Bluetooth. So we've got micro USB, mini USB, and then the USB-C that we can use for wired connections. And then in the iPhones, there is the lightning port and connector for that. And, you know, both of them are getting away from you plugging in too many things. So most of the time you're going to end up being plugged in through wireless. So here's an example of a memory card slot for extra storage for an Android device. Mine does not have it at all. And then here is, you know, you've got your micro and mini USB. So we've got, this does not show USB-C, but, you know, you can see this is one of the options that you can connect. Here is another, and then we finally have, so we've got micro, mini, and then here is USB-C. So this is the one I have, and it's going to be, even Chromebooks now are going to the USB-C. So I know our freshmen have them right now at District 100, and so they're getting more and more popular. If we go on to the different wireless connections, so depending on the device you have, you can connect via Bluetooth, you can connect via IR or infrared, or NFC, which is near field communication. So Bluetooth is just, obviously most of us know this, but you have to pair it, and you have to make sure that the devices are in range and that you press a certain button so that they can talk to each other. So it's just short range wireless for two devices to connect. Then infrared is just a line of sight between the transmitter and receiver. They have to be within 30 meters of each other, which, that's, 100 feet about or less. So they just have to be near each other. And then we have near field communication. And, this is kind of what they use, when you tap to pay. So it's contactless credit card payments. You got your microchip that will give all of that information out. If you want to configure your email, you can do it through a browser or using an email client. I use an email client on my cell phone, on my smartphone. It's very easy. You just open the app and add the account. No matter if you're on your iOS device or on Android, either way is just as easy, and it's very painless. And so you just need your email address and password, and you might need, if it's, your place of business, your incoming and outgoing email servers. So you might need to know these other things, but generally especially if it's a Gmail account, you're just going to need email address and password. So we've got, if it's a business, you might need to know incoming and outgoing email server names. You might have to know the protocol. Most of the time it's going to be IMAP. And then if there's a security protocol that they use, so you might need to know that too. So those are the different things that you would need to know. If you're using your business email on your cell phone, your place of business will give you directions on how to use that. All right, so now on to syncing and backing up your mobile device. This is really not that big of a deal. I did have a friend who had a phone that for some reason syncing got turned off on her phone. And it was just syncing of contacts, and she accidentally ran over her phone. And none of her contacts were backed up, so she had an awful time getting all her contacts into her new phone. And of course, she ran over it. She did such a number on her phone that she couldn't even touch it. She had to take it into a place to take care of it, and she was able to do that, and they got everything restored for her. So you want to make sure that your syncing and backup of all your accounts is happening. The other thing that I have with my phone is, because I have so many accounts, I changed everything. So whenever I add a new person into my phone, I have it go to my personal, because I have a stephanie.washer@gmail account. I have it all go to that personal account, because if it goes to my school account, say something happened and my email got changed, or I moved to a different school, or you never know what could happen. If I take that account off, I will lose all of those contacts. So you want to make sure that you are saving contacts to a specific email that you want it to save to. You can also sync to the cloud. This is the most annoying thing for my husband, because he doesn't want to save anything to iCloud except for maybe, no, he doesn't even care about his pictures because he doesn't take that many pictures. But iCloud always wants to sync, and it always wants to do some sort of settings set up, and so it always looks like his phone is not up to date. But iCloud will sync all of the contacts and everything for you, and then the Google storage will do that as well. And I just let it go because it's nice and easy. A friend of mine, she takes so many pictures, and her iCloud fills up fast, and she doesn't want to pay for any more storage. So you just want to make sure that you keep track of all of those settings, and that you're not filling things up too fast, or somehow keeping the backup from going. This is the Google launcher. We've got our, a 3x3 of different apps. So you click on the 3x3, and then you've got all of the apps that you can use. So this is just how to access Google. Syncing and backup through iCloud, you can see it under the main settings, our app settings, and you can see the storage and how much is used, and you can see the different apps that are using the iCloud. So you can set that up as well. You can sync these items to your desktop too. So you can have manual syncing. You can actually plug in using your USB connection and File Explorer, or you can use iTunes and iOS. So there are third parties that you can use. I've been using OneDrive right now because we have it through Rock Valley, and but Dropbox was one that I used to use a lot. And then you have your backup and sync with Android and the iCloud. The reason I switched to OneDrive, I use OneDrive and I use Google Drive. So the reason I switched to OneDrive, it was easier for me on the Android device. And obviously, you know, Google Drive is very easy on the Android device. Here's just syncing and backup through the iOS. And so we're in iTunes right now, and you can see the manually backup and restore. And we can see this computer or iCloud, so you can take care of everything from this screen. So it's just the iTunes syncing. If you want to sync and back up with the mobile device, you can see the iCloud, iDrive. So this is on a PC versus a Mac. So we have iCloud Photos, iCloud, or Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive. So this is kind of what mine looks like minus the iCloud. I have Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive. And I think I actually have 2 OneDrive setups on here on my computer. So let me see. Let me look real quick. Oh yeah, no, I just have, oh, come on now. Yeah, you can see I just have Dropbox and OneDrive right now. And I just have a multiple different items. I also have Creative Cloud, so I have my Adobe Cloud set up too. So, and you can sync. Apple has Apple Handoff, Microsoft has Launcher, or Continue on the PC. And so you can set it up on the iPhone or iPad, preferences to sync whenever you want. So that's something that you can set up. And then on Android and Windows 10, you've got the Microsoft Launcher iOS app that you can continue on the PC, and you can do the syncing that way. I don't really use those that much. Here's the different options. You can see here's the Drive, Google Drive here. And then Google Hangouts, so this is probably more of a Pixel phone or a Samsung. And then we have another Android. We have multiple Androids? Yeah, we have multiple Androids, so we just kind of see through these different Android devices that you can use on your desktop. So you have a Microsoft Launcher that can show the home screen, so you can simulate all that stuff on your home screen. There's so many different syncing options. You can sync to your automobile. I don't sync to my car, but I do pair to Bluetooth. I don't like syncing to everything on the planet sometimes, but I do listen to podcasts a lot in my car, and I also like to listen to Spotify in the car. Navigation for my Google Maps is much better from my phone than my car navigation, so I wish the call features were better. So my car, I really am not a fan of its call features or navigation, so I just end up using my phone. So it's really nice because then I can just say, okay Google, and it will do everything for me instead of using my phone. To update the OS, usually it just pops up and it asks you to open it, update the OS, but you can also go into settings in general and then go to software update. So you can do that. It's very similar on both the iOS and the Apple. So, you know, they're very similar. Just a couple slides left. Backup and recovery. So backing up a mobile device, so what you can do is you can choose certain files. So you can have files that you're backing up. You can have certain images or certain parts of your phone that you're going to back up, or you can have a little bit of both. So Google Drive, you can have everything back up in Google Drive, and in settings you can make the call on what you want to back up. There's a lot of apps that I do not back up on my phone because it's just really, really weird. If you want to back up on your computer, like you can download a third-party app or a manufacturer's app. And what I mean by really weird, I mean when backup, like there's certain programs like my messages, I don't need the pictures, all the pictures of the messages on my phone backed up. I have Jim Conley and I send Bitmojis back and forth when we're bored and frustrated, so that, you know, just to kind of cheer each other up. And I don't need all those Bitmojis on my phone, and I don't need them all backed up. So I choose not to back up that app. Backing up to computer, again, requires a third-party app, but The best thing about Google Drive or having this Android, and this, it's the same is true for iOS, you don't really need to back up to your computer as long as you can get to iTunes or iCloud or the Google Drive from the web browser. Okay, so backup and recovery, here's the iOS version. iCloud backup, you just go to settings and then go to iCloud and then configure your iCloud backup that way, and then you can do the same with iTunes. And you can do backup now. So some of these, before you switch phones or devices, you definitely want to make sure that you back up everything. And so I would go and make sure that you have everything backed up and look online for the newest directions on how to back everything up. So I think that's everything for right now on, this is just syncing. I said I was going to go over security, but this is just syncing. The next one will be security and IoT.